Hola amigos, hoy tenemos el gran placer de conversar con el señor Jeremy Inniss, presidente de la Liga Nacional Juvenil del Movimiento Nacional Popular de Trinidad y Tobago. Estos días él acaba de participar a un seminario sobre China. Entonces, hoy queremos saber cuáles son sus impresiones sobre el desarrollo de este país, así como sus sugerencias y opiniones sobre las cooperaciones entre China y Trinidad y Tobago. Hello, Mr. Inniss. Welcome to this interview. Thank you very much. And first of all, could you please tell us about the seminar you recently participated about China? What's your feeling?
Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to this interview, which, as you mentioned, is on the heels of the recently concluded webinar between the CPC and youth members of youth leagues across the Caribbean. I'm Dr. Jeremy Inniss. I am the current chairman of the People's National Movement's National Youth League in Trinidad and Tobago. In relation to the recently concluded webinar, it was an excellent opportunity for youth league members to participate and learn of the history of China, the origins of the Communist Party of China, and the formation of the People's Republic of China since 1949. And we learned about the aspirations of the Chinese people and the overall aims and objectives of the CPC in the overall development of China. So it was a very fruitful webinar. It was very informative and very relevant as we explored various topics to the mutual interests of both China and Caribbean parties and countries.
Yeah, okay. Indeed, in past decades, quality development has become a key word of China's economic and social development. Historical achievement has been made in poverty alleviation, and innovation-driven economy is becoming a new path for China's development. And a green and sustainable development has become a consensus. So, what's your impression about China's development in recent years?
What has impressed me is that since the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949, over the past 100 years, the CPC has been able to lead the Chinese people to become masters of their own country, leading the country from extreme poverty to massive economic development. We're talking about just within a few decades, 174 times increase in gross domestic product from 67.4 billion won in 1952 to approximately 90 plus trillion won in 2018, making China impressively the second largest economy in the globe. And not just that, you also pride yourself as the largest industrial country, the largest trader in goods, the largest holder of foreign exchange reserves in the world. And so that was impressive. And moreover, what I could say as well is that the party leadership in terms of the CPC has managed to remain focused on the people, ensuring that the true cause and aspiration is never lost, that, as is said, no one is left behind, holding out a people-centered philosophy of development that has influenced targeted poverty alleviation. We learned that over 800 million persons would have emerged from poverty. And when we look at the middle income population in China, it has expanded to over 400 million. And so there is improvement in people's living standards in terms of adequate essentials, in terms of clothing and food and jobs and security, as well as an increase on the grassroots level in terms of per capita disposable income. I was also impressed as well with the willingness and involvement of youth cadres in the CPC from a very young age, getting involved in the overall service to China through party and through government. And that too in Trinidad and Tobago is encouraged by our political leader and Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley. So those are my general impressions, to say a few.
Okay, then let's talk about the cooperation and the relationship between China and Trinidad and Tobago. So how do you see this relationship? And we know Trinidad and Tobago is one of the first Caribbean countries to participate in the Belt and Road Initiative. So how do you think this initiative can benefit the development of your country?
Yeah, sure. Certainly, that is correct. That Trinidad and Tobago was the first English-speaking Caribbean country in May 14th to sign onto the Belt and Road Initiative, and that would have been initiated by the official visit of our Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, to the People's Republic of China. And the initiative, from what we understood from the webinar, has globally registered more than $7.8 trillion in trade and $110 billion in direct investments with BRI partners. And so there's massive opportunities in terms of connecting markets across continents, as well as lifting persons out of poverty, not just from within the Chinese market, but in other markets across the globe. And so this global development initiative held out by the CPC and as explained by His Excellency Chinese President Xi Jinping, endeavors to meet the aspirations of all nations to a better life, to solve tremendous development challenges, leaving no country behind, following the guidelines of what we call practical cooperation. And so it calls on the international community to accelerate implementation of the 2030 development goals, through which Trinidad and Tobago remains committed in terms of our national development strategy, dubbed Vision 2030. We are in fact committed. And so in Trinidad and Tobago, our national motto is together we aspire, together we achieve. And so the concept of involving other countries as equals based on the premise of mutual respect is something that we are very excited about. And the CPC has managed to lead the Chinese people to contribute to world peace and development, which promotes global common prosperity. And it is on that basis that we are excited by the initiative.
Yeah, so that's the concept proposed by the President Xi Jinping, named Community with Shared Future for Mankind. So how important is this concept for our world today?
Yeah, sure, certainly, and thank you very much for that question. We see that China maintains its commitment to world peace, to stability, to justice and fairness, and as such, through membership of the United Nations, for instance, its Security Council, and through its support as the second largest contributor to UN peacekeepers, we're seeing an overall trust towards being a responsible big brother, as we recognize China as the second largest economy in the globe. And the Chinese people, I could tell you from our experience in Trinidad and Tobago, they are very diligent, friendly, and hardworking. And so even when we look at the local context, Trinidad and Tobago Chinese trade was the first to top US $1 billion in the region, which represents a very deep nature of our friendship. Internationally, China's economy has contributed more than 30% of global growth in 10 consecutive years. And even in terms of COVID-19, when we think about global common prosperity, we've seen China stepping up in its international solidarity. Even for us at home, Chinese companies were instrumental in contributing and upgrading major hospitals, which were key in providing fine healthcare facilities at such a critical time of COVID-19. And this is on the backdrop of having sent medical teams to Trinidad and Tobago for quite a long period to conduct medical exchanges over many years. As a medical doctor myself, I could tell you, having worked in a COVID-19 unit, I was very pleased with these acts on the global stage. And through its all-round opening up, I believe that China would open even wider and encourage an open, inclusive, and innovative global economy where big and small countries continue on the premise of mutual respect to respect each other, working towards a shared future. We see even as China embarks on its new journey to create a modern socialist country, that the CPC will continue to keep their original aspiration and mission of seeking happiness for the people, rejuvenation for the nation, and the common good for the world. So we are very excited by the role that China is playing on the global stage.